So here's a question for you. What does Nigel Mansell,
And he's world champion.
Ayrton Senna,
And Senna's the world champion.
Damon Hill,
And David Hill is world champion.
what do they all have in common? Even a David Coulthard.
Oh! David Coulthard into the pit lane and into the wall.
I know you're thinking one of them was clearly too good looking to be a racing driver, but in actual fact the answer is they all started racing in Formula Ford.
I really enjoyed my Formula Ford days. The first time I actually drove something that was big, quite heavy, and it was always massively close racing. You know, it's a great place to learn racecraft in an open wheel form.
It was very important to have, I think, a category up to go-karts with no wings, no slicks, have the car moving around a lot. A normal gearbox, so you learn a lot of techniques with heel and toe and driving in the wet and things like that.
In the era that I did Formula Ford, it was cut and thrust. It was as close as you'll ever get in a racing car to your other competitors.
It's close open wheel racing, and it's you earn your spurs there, don't you?
If you look in my generation, I think 7 or 8 of us came out of Formula Ford and went to Formula One.
It's not just a case of just getting in and driving fast. You have to be much more complete. And if you listen to any sort of Formula One team or anything like that, they're looking for a driver that is the most complete.
It's incredible how much motorsport has moved on since I started. I raced Formula Ford in 1989, and it was basically you turned up here as a mechanic, sponsorship, and you went racing. Now they're getting the full briefing on how to interact with the team, how to work with the engineers, how to deal with the media. Of course, the media are pretty easy, aren't they? Whereas it's EG. Racecraft, this is the area where you're really going to learn about that racecraft. And this is something that the MSA are helping you with as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got driver coaches here who helps us with that side of it as well as on the other side. But, I mean, racing in Ford, I mean, I don't think you get that in any other sort of car racing from this. The actual just pure racecraft side of it, that's what it is all about.
It's important. You want those guys out there to work as hard as they can for you guys as the individual drivers.
I love this line. Are you working harder than your competitors? Are you really focused on what you want to achieve? It's a great endorsement of how important it is to serve your time in the lower formulas if you want to be successful in the long term.
Yeah, you definitely have to go through the stepping stone. You have to go through the process. You've got to learn racecraft. You've got to learn the mechanics of a car. You've got to learn to work with people.
I've been to at least 5 sponsorship workshops with them, and then they actually help you. They always give me references if I want to send any brochures out or anything like that.
The standard now is just getting higher and higher, and the guys need to be educated. You know, how do they look after themselves? How do they push themselves? How do they get more out of the car? How do they get more out of the team around them?
Formula Ford upwards is where you start, and you know I don't see any guys out there today who are not going to gain something by being in Formula Ford to start their careers.
So then it was time to don the race suits, put on the helmet, and roll back the years.
I love that little puff from the turbo when you brake. It's changed. It's a little bit heavier, of course. It's the more power. You're on slick tires. It's a lot quicker than I remember. Ah, it's fantastic. The raw teaching that you get as a young driver is still there. Formula Ford, fantastic proving ground. Great platform, brilliant day for me, and yeah, I feel like a young man again. Does that mean I can date young girls?